And before I read off the first story, I just want to read off some other interesting news things that happened this week. So obviously the Russian investigation's heating up. Let me give you a short list of all the motherfuckers that have been either tied directly to the Russians or are being investigated by Mueller and Mueller's team. And it's just, all right, so Paul Manafort, George Papadopoulos. Wait, is it George Papadopoulos? Gates, Kushner, Carter Page, Jeff Sessions, Corey Lewandowski, J.D. Gordon, Hope Hicks, Sam Clovis, Donald Trump Jr., Michael Flynn, and Wilbur Ross. And that's just the people that we know Mueller's investigating right now. So, I don't think, honestly, and I'm going to probably catch shit from a lot of Democrats for this, but I don't think Trump actually colluded with the Russians to rig or throw the election. I just don't think. I think his campaign staff maybe, but I don't think he was aware of it. But at the same time, I could be wrong, because when you look at all the people that he's hired, I mean, look at this list. It's like 20 people fucking long, and they've all been implicated with Russia. So, and a lot of them are from his campaign, and you would have to ask, well, why is he getting all these people if he's going to hire the best people, the smartest people? Obviously fucking not. I mean, how many people have already either left, been fired from, or disgraced out of his administration? I mean, anyway, I can't talk about Trump for too much longer. So in other news, Saudi Arabia has been doing a crackdown on corruption, and this really just means that the Saudi prince is trying to consolidate power. You saw the women driver's license ban lifted earlier this year, and you're like, oh yeah, that's great. Well, really, it is great. And the women in Saudi Arabia are the most oppressed people in the most oppressed women in the Middle East by far. And unless you're living under like Islamic State rule or whatever, but as far as like, countries go, countries that we're allies with at that, yeah, they have no rights there. So obviously that move was a way to appeal to the general populace, because a lot of women, every woman just about, but they wanted those rights. So now they basically have just been bought favor by the Saudi prince. So we just got to keep our eye on that and see. I mean, Saudi Arabia is such a fucking corrupt country. I don't know why in the world, other than the fact that we do billion-dollar weapons deals with them and, help them bomb the poorest country in the world, Yemen, while they have the biggest cholera outbreak ever. And, people are dying. We're helping them block ports so medicine, food, supplies can't get in. It's just an absolute clusterfuck. Yesterday marked the 1 year anniversary since the presidential election when Hillary Clinton lost and Donald Trump became president. And some Hillary Clinton supporters, man, I'm sorry, but some of their reactions were funny. I mean, I get it. Like, you're so emotionally invested in a candidate and a cause, and you put so much time and effort into it, and you really believed she was gonna win. Yeah, I can get why they would cry. I'm not gonna be too mean on them. And I'm gonna actually make a longer length video about this because it's very detailed. But last year, the Panama Papers revealed tax dodging by many U.S. companies, diplomats, also the wealthiest amongst the world, and we were able to see where they were hiding their money. I believe it was somewhere in the I couldn't tell you, to be honest. I forget where. And then this year, a year after the Panama Papers leaked, the Paradise Papers leaked. And this has already led to a lot of revelations. The Queen of England has money tied up. I didn't even know the Queen needed to pay taxes. I thought she owned the whole country. And I guess not. I mean, that's really surprising. Or her estate was somehow involved in it. And that's actually how Wilbur Ross got in that, caught up in the Russian investigation because he was doing some kind of lobbying or receiving money from him. I'm not exactly sure. And yeah. And a few other things. Syria signed the Paris Climate Agreement. That means that the United States is now the only country in the entire world that hasn't signed on to the Paris Climate Agreement. That's amazing. That just is sad on so many levels. North Korea signed on to the Paris Climate Agreement. North Korea. Syria. And Donald Trump is just, trampling over our Environmental Protection Agency. He put Scott Pruitt in charge of it. There was actually a study released by the Lancet Journal of Medicine like 2 weeks ago that shows, I believe, something like 9 million deaths a year occur from pollution, making it the largest preventable, cause of death in the world. Yes, it's mostly in developing countries, but it is also in places like America and Great Britain. And, people are actually dying. And that was also a low estimate because they had to do controls, and all the research still isn't done. They're still going to continue to prod and do more. And last on the list of things, obviously Trump is in Asia. Good thing he left because his approval rating dropped to the record low of 36% right before he left. Obviously he hasn't been handling, you can agree or disagree with his policy and his politics, but you can't tell me that that dude has been acting appropriately, acting like he isn't hiding something. You know what I mean? Like I said earlier, I don't think he was involved in the Russia investigation or collusion with the Russians, perhaps, other than the fact that he tried to get a fucking world's biggest building ever built in Russia. And guess when he was trying to negotiate this? During the 2016 campaign. How has nobody else been hammering this home on the mainstream media? That's absolutely insane. Abso-fucking-lutely insane. I mean, that right there shows that he was trying to use an election to get money from a foreign government. And there's other examples of this too. Like when he rents out rooms in Trump Tower to diplomats who come and stay. Because, yeah, we could go to the Four Seasons, or we could just go to Trump Tower and we can get, obviously put a little money in the president's pockets. He's going to be a little happy with that. And it fucking works, apparently.